Well, good evening. Just a wrap up of the work session and the council meeting for the City of Grand Rapids for February 22nd, 2016. The work session was pretty much around discussion around boards and commission. An important part of the City of Grand Rapids is the volunteer people in the community that step up and work on joining different boards and commissions or committees that help continue to make and move the city forward in a positive direction. So we had discussion and we filled those boards and commission positions as a slate this evening. And to those out there that were successful, congratulations, and we look forward to working with you and hearing your input on different ones. And we did have some unsuccessful ones, and Council Member Zabinski touched on that. Thank you for putting in. It's great service, and we appreciate your willingness to step forward, and hopefully there will be other opportunities on different boards and commissions in the future that you would see fit in applying for, and hopefully have success at getting appointed there. Going forward to the council meeting, two things that I wanted to talk about on the consent agenda. Normally I don't go through a lot of the consent agenda, but these two I think are important. And the first was the extension of a contract between the City of Grand Rapids and Tom Pagel as our city administrator. That was completed this evening. And then the second was on a merit pay basis. Part of Tom's performance for 2015 was there was 11 tasks out there that we had asked him as a city and a city council to work on towards completion. Although not all 11 tasks were completed, we specifically focused on 3, and the 3 tasks that we had focused on, Tom was successful in moving those projects forward to completion. And actually on the 11, we've got a lot of progress, and we're expecting that even though we're into 2016, most of those 11 goals will be completed in the first part here of 2016. Going forward, we had 2 public hearings this evening. One was to address some building on Block 20 and 21. If you have not heard, there's preliminary plans of motel hotel, 72 to 85 units over on Block 21. Behind the Glorvigen building, across the street from the library and KAXE. We needed to vacate some easements there in order for that project to move forward. That was successful. There was no public input on that one. Second one was on street projects, 5th Street and 8th Avenue from the middle school all the way down to the Horn Bridge. And that is by no means small projects between the two of them. I believe they're close to $3 million, of which 17% of the project is going to impact residents from an assessment standpoint. So Julie Kennedy was in and did an overview of those projects and the needs and the street improvements and the sidewalks and what's going to happen. So it did include and does include bike lanes on 5th, which has been on a trial period over the last almost a year and a half or so. The feeling is that this is a good way to increase mobility in the City of Grand Rapids from biking, and from a pedestrian safety standpoint, we feel that 5th Street is the appropriate place to do that. So that project was approved. There was some feedback from a couple of the residents, one from an apartment owner on the multiplier, and it's based on, I think with the explanation there is you're assessed on side street and the main street in front of you, so you get assessed twice, so his multiplier hits him twice there on that. And the other one was a representative from Salem Lutheran Church in there that they were talking about losing some parking and the cost there. So I think all in all it was answered very appropriately and to the satisfaction of the residents that brought that forward. One thing interesting, and this could change, we are assuming that the cost of that project, as you look at prices, is going to be about 11 and a quarter a foot. The county's been successful in some bidding out there that because of fuel prices dropping, that project cost could, we hope, drop at the same time. So by no means is the $11.25 a foot set in stone. We are optimistic and hopeful that that number will drop at some point in time out into the future, but we will be doing a final assessment on that project once the project is done. Our street projects will start after school goes out in June and will be completed before school gets back in session in August or September, whichever that start date is for school. So expect some movement, some delays around there. Plan accordingly as you go out into the summer and we get into those projects. We did approve one other project. It was a supplemental letter agreement with SEH for amount not to exceed $10,000 for some preliminary engineering in conjunction with the PED Bridge. That's a project that we're working on funding. If we get the funds, that's going to improve from a safety standpoint and from a connection standpoint, the walkability and bikeability, and to bring some of that flow off from the Pekagama Avenue Bridge by the Blandon Paper Mill and off from the Horn Bridge over to a PED Bridge that would cross somewheres behind KEXE and over across towards the library and then across over into the property over by the YMCA. So we did, as I said, we have filled all of our boards and commissions. We paid our bills, and we look forward to hearing from you. Because of the leap year, February 29th is a Monday, so technically we will not be getting together until the 14th, so we do have a significant time in there, almost 3 weeks, actually 3 weeks, instead of the normal 2-week gap that we have. So please be careful out there. We are getting into the spring season, which means that there are potentially a lot of slippery areas as it gets wet and then freezes at this time of year. Be careful when you're walking, biking, or riding as you come to an intersection. We hope that, as always, that you have a productive 3 weeks, and we look forward to visiting with you again on the 14th of March. Have a good evening.